Yo, what's happening everybody, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Bat League video. Today we went on a pretty insane run all the way up to 29.99. As you can see by the title, we were literally 1 point off Legend. We were just 1 point away. As it turned out, I started off the day on about 2870 ELO, and I made it the whole way up to 1 point off Legend, with one set remaining. So stick around and watch to the end if you want to see if it went positive or negative to hit Legend. I do encourage you guys not to skip the whole way to the end just to see what the score was. Today's video is a little bit of a longer one, but I know that you guys are going to enjoy it. There are some really good battles in here and I hope you guys enjoy. Guys, I'm going to have to ask you, hit that like button and subscribe for 29.99 ELO. Definitely the most heartbreaking score you can possibly get in this game. Definitely the most heartbreaking score you can get in this game, and definitely a little bit unlucky. But I think I definitely done very well to get to this point because at the start of the Element Cup I was around 22.15. Before then, with the Sunshine Cup, I just could not get any runs going, I couldn't have any success, and I was running a very similar team to this one in the Sunshine Cup, of course with Vigoroof instead of Medicham. To me it felt like the season was a complete write-off, and I couldn't get anywhere with my ELO, so even making it to 1 point off Legend is a bigger achievement than I expected. In the Element Cup we went all the way up from 2250 to almost Expert. I hit Expert for the first time yesterday, and we're going to see if we can push it one step further. As this matchup right here, we've got Slowbro in the back. This thing can be kind of awkward, but we have enough Pokemon to take it out basically. We're up 2 shields, I'm not sure why the opponent isn't top lefting at this point. The opponent can look to spam off Surfs here, so we're going to go ahead, swap out to Medicham here eventually. We're pretty close to a Psychic, just to guarantee it, you know. I wasn't taking any chances or risks here, I knew that they would have to throw a move against Medicham anyway. The Psychic will look to get them very low, being of course neutral damage. That gets them super low, they are forced to throw a Surf, and they're not going to get to another one. So good game, first game. And in these first couple of sets, I seen a ton of Azumarill. It was kind of wild actually. I think I seen about 5 or 6 Azumarill. So you're seeing one in this lead right here, and we'll see if we can deal with it. Now the way I decided to play this is probably incorrect, but I'm playing it incorrect deliberately to try and sort of do something. I throw the Psychic straight off on incorrect timing, basically allowing them a free bubble, because I want to apply this damage quickly. I do try to obviously catch like a play rough on the Noctowl. Now I'm thinking this could be an Ice Beam, so this could end up being bad, but I don't really have a good answer to Azumarill. But the opponent is staying in here, so it's making me think they might be a little bit weak. I ended up over-tapping. I thought I hit the move, but it ended up over-tapping there. And we've thrown bad timing again. Now, I recognize that they're staying in with Azu, so they don't have an answer to Noctowl on the back. We're going to stay in here, load up on energy, and see what comes in here. Now, the opponent ends up coming in with Scrafty, so this is like the biggest tell that you could possibly ask for, that they're weak to Noctowl in the back. So at this point, I'm thinking it has to be Trevenant in the back. So we come in with Medicham, get a little bit ahead in energy. I'll look to fire off the Ice Punch here first. And whenever you're swapping into an opponent, make sure you always fire off the move first, to not allow them to sneak an extra move through. I can let this go at this point, and I make a bit of an interesting play here. I come in with Diggersby. I do want to sort of keep Noctowl for Scrafty, right, because Scrafty can potentially run through Diggersby. We do end up seeing CMPing here, this is absolutely fine. The opponent is getting super low. It'll take them 3 Seed Bombs to take us out, and we only need 1 Fire Punch to take them out. So if they go into the full shielding scenarios, you know, they can take us out. Now at this point, they're in the 2 shield. There's not really any point firing off a move here, so we're going to look to farm them the whole way down here. They're getting pretty close, and I'm getting scared they're going to ramp up and go for foul play. But I think this is just going to be a power punch, sorry, it is the foul play, but we can survive it. Because Diggersby is super thick, and that's the amazing thing about this Pokemon. So that's why I didn't go straight into Noctowl, because I needed it to take out Scrafty. Now I left this match in here because we always just love a good Bastiodon smackdown. Now in this match here, I go for the Sky Attack straight away. I'm thinking the opponent's on Power Punch and either Ice Punch or Psychic. Now the opponent lets that move through, which is great, and I decide to shield up Noctowl. I've got 2 answers to Bastiodon, so what I need to do here is just farm this the whole way down and try to leave with some energy on this. Of course this is going to be Victory Bell in the back, so if I can keep some health on Noctowl, I will definitely do it. I think I could have just thrown off the Sky Attack here to like preserve a little bit more health. I try to throw after good timing here, and we're going to swap straight out here to Medicham. Those couple of wing attacks could make a huge difference on this thing, and that's what I decided to do. Now this is perfect with this team. We're going to go ahead and fire off Ice Punches. Ice Punch number 1 coming through, and the opponent will get to a move here just before we get to this one. They'll be able to CMPS. This will be a Leaf Tornado. I probably can live it, but I'm just trying to get both shields off the opponent. And at this point, this leaves Diggersby in a good position to come in, go for a Fire Punch, and look to obviously Earthquake the Bastiodon. This team we have is really good at dealing with this Brain Dead team, so I'm super happy to be running it. Just definitely in this cup, having like 1 counter user and 1 ground user, or having double ground, super OP. And the fact that we're seeing this team, I think I've seen it twice in this video, the fact we're seeing this team in the Catch Cup is kind of making me sick. The opponent's staying in here. They could go for another 2 Stone Edges if they wanted to and still not take me out. So I think they just don't want to give this one up, but they don't have a choice, unfortunately. Diggersby coming through with the Earthquake, get shit on Bastiodon, and let's hop into the next one. So I want you guys to comment down below here. I need a little bit of advice on this next matchup here. I need to look it up, but I'm not sure if I play this correctly. I'll let you know my thought process though. So Toxicroak, I feel like this is pretty even. It could be one for either of these Pokemon. I feel like they get to the Sludge Bombs in what, like 7, and of course we get to the Psychics in 8. Now one Psychic threatens to take out, one Sludge Bomb does not take us out. So what I like to do is go Psychic, and then go into Noctowl, which is my hard answer to it. And of course this draws out a Stunfisk. I'll get it low with Noctowl, of course counter down with Medicham, and then look to threaten it with a Psychic or an Ice Punch. I think I should be going straight Ice Punch on Toxicroak. I think that's my mistake there. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. But this is getting quite interesting. Now, what I'm noticing in this matchup here is that these wing attacks are actually adding up on this thing. This is definitely not a rank 1 Stunfisk. And of course, you're going to see this Rock Slide coming through, which does not take us out. Now, I'm going to go straight for the next Shadow Ball here. And I think what I might decide to do, and I do this a few times against Stunfisk, is actually just shield it up once here, because they've already shielded, so I can afford to shield. And what I'll look to do is come in with either Medicham or Bastiodon. I'm going to bank a Sky Attack. That's exactly what I wanted to do there, just bank the Sky Attack and swap out. I decide to shield this up, even if it is just the Mud Bomb, and look to go for an Ice Punch on Toxicroak, which I think would come very close to taking it out, and I think that's probably why I should just be going Ice Punch, because it does a lot of damage on that thing. In comes the Zoomerl. This is about the worst thing we can see. We need to get a Psychic off on this thing, but they bubble us down just in time. If we were running a rank 1 Medi, fully powered up, we do get off that Psychic, so that is a little bit unfortunate. Our only real choice is to come in with Diggersby here, and the opponent's running Hydro Pump. I couldn't honestly believe the amount of Azumarill I was seeing, but of course they were spawning in the wild this season. So this season obviously is the first time these guys are getting an XL Azumarill. I haven't actually built mine yet. I need to get one with better IVs. What I tried to do here is go for a CMP catch here, which would have been perfect, which maybe get the shield off the opponent. But yeah, the opponent predicts it, really well played by the opponent, and they go for the Overkill Hydro Pump, which is quite hilarious. Good games to the opponent. Definitely a bit of a rock and a hard place that match, but yeah, it's kind of funny that we're seeing all these XL Pokemon, including my XL Diggersby. Now this is a really annoying match right here. Watch what happens. The opponent fires off the Hydro Cannon. I get denied, which means I'm not able to sneak through a counter, and I make a mistake here. I go for a CMP, which is just not great at all here. I'm gonna let this go, but the one kind of good thing about the CMP is the opponent's forced to stay in, and oh yeah guys, it was deliberate actually. I wanted them to stay in and eat the Ice Punch, but the opponent is eventually going to swap out here. Now you can make an argument that I should go for Ice Punch because this is going to get shielded no matter what, but I think I'm only going to get off one move, and the Psychic has a chance to debuff, which we actually luckily enough do get here. I think this will be kind of clutch and crucial for me to somehow take out this Charizard. I respect the first one. I don't think it's that often that Charizards beat Noctowls. Usually they full send the Blast Burn, because you know that you can live it with a Noctowl, so that's all the more reason to shield it. The opponent's going to go for another Blast Burn, and as you can see, like, you can live it, but it is not comfortable. The opponent will outpace to the Dragon Claw here, but this is leaving Charizard in a nice little range where we can look to counter it down, or of course quick attack it down with Diggersby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they were just about getting to the Blast Burn right there. So very, very lucky to get that down. That Blast Burn would have stung a lot, even on the bulky bunny. The opponent goes for a catch, and yeah, they farm me down. They're only one off it, so that was super, super close right there. But at this point, we've got back-to-back loaded. But look at the health on our Diggersby here. It takes 3 Seed Bombs for them to take us out. They're going to get to Seed Bomb number 1 here. Now, all I need to do is get 2 back-to-back Seed Bombs, or back-to-back Fire Punches, and that will take it out. So, it could have got close, but we end up outpacing pretty heavily here, and that overfarm of Diggersby and Charizard definitely helped win that match for us. I think if we had ate that Blast Burn, we were just screwed there. But then at the same time, we would have ended up getting more farm. So it could have been 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But we went 3-2 in that set. And actually in the first 3 sets, we went 3-2. We had a couple of rough matches. And like I said, a lot of XL fairy Pokemon. We had actually a Tapu Fini, I think, one of the matches. We had Umbreons. We had, I think I seen like 3 or 4 Azu. I was kind of surprised to see them. And the opponent's coming in here with a Medicham. Now this is 1494 CP. So I think this is one of the higher rated CPs that you can get, unless they're just running like a sort of normal Medicham, like a non-XL Medicham, which is possible. With Medicham, I recommend going XL, but if you don't go XL, it's still really good, and I've been using that for the last couple of seasons. But we're going to go on ahead and fire off a Fire Punch here against it. I don't think we're getting to another Earthquake here, unfortunately, and we're looking just to chip this as much as possible. We do have a shield off the opponent, so we got something out of this matchup at the least. That's the amazing thing about Diggersby. Those Earthquakes really do add up. The opponent's just going straight Power Punch here, but I am a little bit afraid of the Ice Punch, especially if they shield up here. I'll definitely respect it, but no. In comes Noctowl. I think I do shield this one here, because I want to try and keep Noctowl healthy. If they're coming into Noctowl, I think they were... I'm not sure if they were lagging, or if it was just the animation lagging. We'll let this one go here, and we'll look to go for a Sky Attack. Now, we're a little bit ahead on health here, so this will look to get them closer to the red, and they come in with a Surf Edged. At this point, this is kind of awkward. Definitely wish I had more health on my Noctowl. They've got a 1460 CP, so this is definitely one fresh off the press here. They just wanted to make it and use it. We're going to look to counter this thing the whole way down, not before they get off another Leaf Blade though, which could end up being crucial here. But let's take us out. It gets us super, super low, and we counter down the Noctowl, but they counter us down at the exact same time. Again, if I had my thing fully powered up, I would be winning some of these matches. In comes Girafarig, and I'm like, bruh. And then in comes Bruxish, and I'm like, bruh. What is this team? What am I witnessing right now? I'm gonna let the first Psychic Fangs go, and you're gonna see me going for a Psychic right here. You might be thinking, going for a Psychic against Bruxish doesn't really make sense, does it? It kind of does, because look how much damage it does anyway. This thing cannot take a hit. It's really just designed to spam off Psychic Fangs and farm stuff down. So that's what the opponent's going for here. We're gonna look to farm this thing down though, and we'll see what the opponent comes in with. At the moment we're in the 2-shield, and I go straight for the Earthquake, thinking that the opponent will not respect this, because I mean, it's super, super obvious to go for the bait against Girafarig, because it is super glassy. So this is why I just go for these harder hitting moves. I think against better players, going for harder hitting moves pays off more often than not. I think against like lower elo players, people are just baiting left, right and center, and it's kind of, yeah, the opponent top lefts. Stupid team and, you know, bad results, so I'm not sure what the opponent's doing here. I guess this is just a team for fun. They've hit Legend already, so they're just trying to annoy people at this stage. In comes Nidoqueen. This is an interesting one. This has to be a win for Medicham, I'm sure. I decided to go for the Ice Punch, one before the Earth Power, and I'm expecting the opponent to go for the bait here, but nonetheless I'm going to swap into Noctowl and look to catch a potential Earth Power, because what I said, you know, works both ways, right? Where it's like, you know, people are always expecting the bait, so if you go for the harder hitting move, it's a little bit unexpected, right? In comes Scrafty, so I'm like, bro, what do you have in the back? What do you have in the back if you're coming into Scrafty here against my Noctowl? So I'm thinking, bro, maybe I could have needed this Noctowl. So I think here, I'm actually considering coming in Diggersby, because I think maybe Medicham's good against something in the back. And I think I'm going to shield this up because I want to keep Medicham alive. The way I'm looking at it is, if they come back in with Nidoqueen, I can go for Ice Punch and Psychic. And if it is a grass type in the back, like a Trevenant, or in this case, it is a Jumpluff, which is a Pokemon that's kind of underrated. It kind of gets wrecked by the Owl, unfortunately. We go for CMP here on the Ice Punch. But yeah, I was just keeping this around just in case we needed Ice Punch for something, or just in case it was something that we could beat with Medicham. And we can let this go at this point. Acrobatics coming through, and we're going to look to farm the whole way down with Diggersby here, hoping they don't get to an Energy Ball. They do not, and they put on top left here. Diggersby is just amazing at sweeping, and at this point we've went 3-2 3 times in a row. A lot of the matches I lost, but like I said, against Azumarill. So in order for me to get up to Legend, I need a 5-0 set right here. In comes Bastiodon. We're basically going to play this the same way. The opponent swaps out, we swap out. I think I played this slightly differently, but it's pretty much exactly the same as before. I just wanted to show it to you because we all enjoy Bastiodon getting shit on here, of course. I decided to respect this because I want to make sure to take Switch. I'll just skip ahead here, and we get a 20% battery, and we Earthquake the Bastiodon. Goodbye Wallface. Goodbye Wallface. I'll go for the no bubble Fire Punch, and that'll take it out. So this set we're 1-0 so far. In comes the Legend player. Medicham versus Munchlax. Very, very fun pick here, and a very underrated pick. In comes Gliscor. Now, I think I could even consider staying in here, eating a Night Slash and throwing off yet another Ice Punch, because these Ice Punches are so threatening. But I do always like to, if possible, threaten whatever comes in, get a shield off them, and then swap into like Noctowl or Diggersby, or whatever my safe swap is on any given team. I like to get that advantage before swapping out. So go for a Sky Attack. This will look to get it quite low, and I don't think the opponent wants to go down 2 shields here. So they do let that go, of course. That's debatable. I think I definitely could have ate a Night Slash and got off a second Ice Punch, but then the Wing Attacks and Night Slashes would be adding up. So I think just going for one was good there. Yeah, I think the opponent got the boost there, but they just let it go, thankfully. The opponent's on Tackle here, not Lick, and they're looking to tackle me the whole way down here. We go for a Sky Attack on this Noctowl. The opponent swaps into Whimsicott. Now, this is where I would love to have Noctowl. Now, I think, let me see what I come in with. I come in with Diggersby, and I'm going to look to go for our Fire Punches. We do have a shield advantage, and these Fire Punches will add up quickly, and they come through quickly. If they ever buff Fire Punch on all of the elemental punches, Diggersby is going to be amazing, because with Quick Attack you can already beat Noctowl. If Fire Punch was just doing that little bit more damage, you would be putting more damage into things like Whimsicott and Trevenant, and you'd be looking to take down Noctowl a little bit quicker. I decided to catch a potential grass knot. I can't speak, bro. A potential grass knot on Medicham. The opponent swaps out here. We end up going for the psychic. We do get to it in time. Lucky enough, I was patient enough with my energy, didn't throw it straight off, and we were able to counter this thing down. The opponent sees the writing in the wall. Vickersby with a shield in the back can beat just about anything in this game, and we're hopping into the next one. We get a Noctowl lead. I'm sorry I skipped that a little bit too much there, but it is a Noctowl lead. Again, what I'm looking to do is take some sort of advantage, and arguably going into Diggersby here is a mistake. The way I'm looking at it is, these two Pokemon kind of deal with the same sort of stuff, right? So like Diggersby and Medicham both deal with steel types, and Noctowl is my only Pokemon for dealing with like fighters and things. So that's what I was kind of thinking here. The opponent comes into Galarian Stunfisk, which I could not believe. Arguably, I should be going for a Fire Punch before they even get this Earthquake off, but I want to get a nice overfarm here and look to threaten whatever comes back in. We'll see what happens here. We'll go for the Fire Punch, and we're looking to probably swap straight out into Noctowl here. The Noctowl fires off energy, and we'll see if the opponent wants to stay in or swap out to something. They go for a second Sky Attack here, so I'm thinking, oh my goodness, are you going to stay in here and just spam these off? In comes Drapion. So this is looking okay here at this point. We can look to fire off multiple Sky Attacks in this thing, or this thing will have to dump a move. We do just about get to the second Sky Attack, but since the opponent let me CMP them, I'm happy enough to get off the Sky Attack and look to really threaten this thing. Get the shields down and look to sweep with Medicham and lower health Diggersby here. So we come in with Medicham here, we can eat a crunch no problem on this thing, and this is just looking super rough for the opponent. We're just going to farm this thing the whole way down, and yeah, the opponent realizes that they just about stop attacking, and they do go for the top left there. In comes Marsh Dump. The opponent, funny enough, swaps straight out into Whimsicott. Again, I'm looking to take some sort of an advantage, but actually this time I don't. I played it differently. I decided to bank the energy this time instead. We catch a Grass Knot on Noctowl, which is beautiful. Now, one Moonblast from this thing does a crazy amount. The opponent lets me get off a move. I was expecting them to CMP me, but I wanted to like force them to take this move. So that's kind of wild by the opponent. They definitely were just overfarming a little bit too much. In comes Frostlass. Again, what I decided to do, I'm not letting this opponent like get any sort of easy knockouts or anything. I'm just going to force shields off the opponent. Noctowl does win this in the zeros. The Shadow Ball will look to take them out. Of course that Avalanche would have took me out. But if you're ever against Frostlass, if you have a Noctowl lead, you can win that in the zeros if you want to. The opponent catches a Sky Attack, which I'm really not sure what that's all about. I guess they're thinking, because I'm shielding Noctowl, that they've got a good matchup for that in the back. And once again, the opponent CMPing me. There's this idea that if you win CMP, you always try to CMP. I don't think that's correct. It is correct for some occasions, but like if you're letting the opponent potentially get a move off that's going to take you out, and they can just shield and get off their move, I think you throw one before CMP, even if you do win CMP. Like sometimes the opponents will just let it go, but if the opponent decides to like really hard wall you with it, because they can't farm me down with mud shots there, so it's just putting the opponent in a really awkward position. And you seen even with the Drapion, like they let my Noctowl get off another Sky Attack. They should be throwing one before the Sky Attack, because it makes me make the decision like, do I want to stay in here and look to go for multiple moves, or do I just want to get my move off here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think going for CMP is not always the best play. Just because you win CMP doesn't mean you should always go for it. In comes Stunfisk, really positive lead here, and in comes Dragonair. Now you're thinking here, okay, they swapped out, so I have to swap out. No, you don't have to. We're going to go for an Ice Punch in this thing. We're ahead by 1, we reach the Ice Punch and Body Slam at the exact same time, and these counters are doing just as much as their Dragon Breaths are doing, and I'm going to outpace. So like the whole like thing about this Dragonair is to try and take Switch. It's not going to happen here. We're just going to force them to double shield, or they're going to have to double shield and lose Switch here, and we're probably going to get a move off. So this kind of throws a spanner in the opponent's plan here. Like depending on what comes in here, I could swap out. But the opponent actually, funny enough, comes back in with Galarian Stunfisk. So I'm thinking here, man, if you're coming in with Stunfisk, you either have Scrafty or some other steel type in the back. So I'm thinking here, like, we're in just such a dominant position. At this point, we can come in with Diggersby. If they swap out to Scrafty, we'll come into Noctowl. So this is just looking super, super good. The opponent fires off an Earthquake. It's going to tickle my Diggersby, and the opponent is going to stay in here for another minute. Again, I'm tapping next to my Owl. I'm expecting Scrafty to come in. And it is actually Lantern, which is interesting. Now what I need to do here is get off an Earthquake on this thing. We can just about outpace before 2 Surfs here. And even if we have to eat a Thunderbolt on Owl, that's perfectly fine, because look at the health range they're going to be in. 1 Earthquake does a lot of damage, they're super low. I try to catch a Surf, doesn't matter at that point if they don't throw the Surf, because 1 Thunderbolt does not take out Noctowl. And as you're about to see here, we can just farm this the whole way down. I think the opponent stopped tapping a few bubbles at the end. Thunderbolt would do a little bit more than that. We would still be able to farm down, and even get to a Fire Punch on Diggersby before they get to 2 Surfs. And guys, we went 5-0 and that's it, and we are 29.99. from 29.25 to 29.99, you do get roughly 75 for 5-0. We get 74, which is heartbreaking. It would have been so nice to get 3,000 on the button there. And once again, guys, we go for an ice punch and go for a dip here. Just trying to take an advantage, just to make sure we can take switch. The opponent goes for a weather ball. We're going for this move straight away, just to try and force the opponent to make a decision here. The opponent shields it up, so I'm thinking, right, you want to take switch, so I'll try to take switch too. We go for a shield here, and the opponent has farmed up a ton of energy. I think I go straight for the move, but the opponent CMPs me. One thing I've noticed in this video is I got CMP'd quite a lot, which is a little bit less optimal. We'll see if the opponent really wants to fight for switch here, but this could be looking close to a simul KO. So what I decide here is I want to save my Noctowl, and look to come in with Diggersby. I'll just eat a move on this thing, and the opponent comes back in with Galarian Stunfisk. I was like, bro, what do you have in the back? Diggersby just core breaks in this cup so much. So guys, invest 600k into Diggersby real quick if you have one. Honestly though, honestly do. If you don't have a Diggersby and you've got the candy and the Stardust for it, this Pokemon's amazing in this meta, and even in the general Grit League meta, especially with Quick Attack being able to beat Noctowl. This Pokemon is so unbelievably underrated. In comes Whimsicott. We're going to fire off a Fire Punch. About 2 of these look to threaten to get it quite low. We'll come in with Noctowl here to threaten the Sky Attack. They do go for the catch, and they will end up firing off the Grass Knot here. So it's getting kind of close, like, it's getting to the point where one move will come close to taking me out here. One move will take me out. They go for the CMP here once again. And the question is, can we outpace to the Ice Punch before they get to the Moonblast? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that's only 5. So I'm thinking this is a Grass Knot, unless they overfarmed more than I thought. It is the Grass Knot, and thank goodness, bro. I thought I was potentially going to lose that one to Whimsicott. This thing unchecked can be very dangerous, and I was pretty happy to win that in the end. So we're 1-0 in this legend, quote-unquote legend set. In comes Noctowl here. Once again, I'm going to go for the chip and dip. We've got a very positive matchup against Snorlax. So we need to win 3 out of 2 in this set in order to hit legend. The opponent goes for Sky Attack here. And I'm looking at this now, and I'm thinking maybe I made a mistake here. Coming into Diggersby once again. I think if you're going to chip it with Medicham, you might as well just come into Noctowl. But we'll see what happens here. We're overfarming here. Trying to leave with a little bit of energy for Diggersby. Or for the Snorlax match. I end up CMPing once again. Do I shield this here? If I shield it, it is a mistake. So at least I no shield it, and I'm leaving myself in lower health. But I think I would have preferred coming into Noctowl. It would have been a lot cleaner here. So the opponent is going to most likely come into Snorlax to lick down. Now what I'm going to do is threaten the Earthquake, and the opponent eventually does go for the Body Slam. Yeah, so I think that's always a good thing to do. If you know you can get to it, threaten it. The opponent has the worst thing I can possibly see in the back. It is a Alolan Ninetales with Charm. I guess Powder Snow would be worse, so it's not quite the worst thing I could see, but it's not far off it, of course. At least with Powder Snow, Medicham can somewhat deal with it, and at least with Charm, Noctowl can somewhat deal with it, but it's just not easy to deal with this thing at all. The Charms really chunk through Noctowl, and what I really kind of need to do here is get off the Sky Attack. I just can't, bro. I'm just one turn away from it. Now the opponent kind of messes up here by throwing, in my opinion. They go for the Weather Ball here, and what we do is go ahead and go for an Ice Punch. But if you think about it, if you look what health I'm on right now, one more Charm would have been getting me deep into the yellow here, and the opponent could be looking to lick down. I guess maybe they should be throwing, because yeah, actually I'm talking nonsense here. One Ice Punch would not have taken out the Snorlax. Well played by the opponent. Just for this team, Alolan Ninetales is tough. Now once again, we outpace to the Shadow Ball here. What I like to do here is throw off an Ice Punch, and then just go into Noctowl. I don't really want to go into Diggersby here, because multiple Seed Bombs will be quite threatening. We do try to catch it, and in comes Bastiodon, so I'm like, bro, no way. This is my quote-unquote legend set. This is 2 bad games in a row. If I lose this, it means I need to win 2 games in a row to hit legend. So it's looking pretty rough here at this point. Bastiodon is definitely not what I want to see here. We do go for a Shadow Ball on this thing at least, but this thing's going to farm the whole way down. I absolutely hate this Pokemon, bro. I can't stand this thing. But, you know, to be fair, like in this sort of team, what I end up realizing is I should be trying to get more farm in Medicham. And stupidly enough, I sit there and wait my clock down, which is not great, because I don't really have another amazing answer for Trevenant. Now, the opponent's up to back-to-back Seed Bombs, so I would have to respect one no matter what to get off the Ice Punch, and that's what I decide to do here. So I just need to hope and pray that I can deal with something in the back. But I'm thinking, though, because they have Bastiodon in the back, it's unlikely they're double weak to Diggersby in the back, and I am correct, it is Toxicroak. They're going to counter me down, and unfortunately we do lose that match. So we need to win 2 in a row, guys, and in comes a Delphox right here. Now this is one of the actual good matches for Delphox, so I'm like, oh no. Oh no, like this is just it, isn't it? I'm gonna get taken out by Delphox. Mystical Fire coming through. I respect the Blast Burn, because again, like, the Mystical Fire bait is so obvious that you sometimes do have to respect it. Now what I'm thinking here is, because they've baited me once, the opponent might think I don't want to double shield, so that was my line of thinking there. Like, they're going to go for the Blast Burn because I quote-unquote don't want to double shield it. So that was my thinking, and I think that was the correct call. We do end up sky attacking it out, and in comes a Charm Ninetales. I think that was 3, I want to count these up here. I think that was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're on 8 charms. So I want to see if they're able to get to back-to-back moves here. We go for the sky attack. Yeah, so I think they're up to back-to-back Weller Balls right here. So we'll see how much this one Weller Ball does right here. Yeah, so actually, I would have been able to survive another Weller Ball, and I would have beat the Scrafty with Medicham. So the opponent, you know, big shout out to the opponent. They basically top left it and let me win that one. But I'm thinking actually if they free off both Weller Balls, I would have survived. Got off the Fire Punch, which would have took out, and then I would have looked to take out Scrafty. So thank you very much to the opponent. I think that was going to end up maybe a close win for me anyway, but I really appreciate that. Especially because we got to 29.99, and guys, look where we are right now. We had a Muck lead, we've stored a Psychic, we've got Noctowl and Medicham. This is the last game. If I win this game, I am legend. How can this possibly go wrong, right? There's no way this could possibly go wrong, could it? Like, what could they possibly have in the back that could potentially stop me from getting legend? We'll have to find out here. So we take this out. I'm happy the opponent did not shield it and force switch or anything, and the opponent comes back in with Muck. I'm going to look to fire off the first sky attack here and hope to get to another one. And just hope the opponent gets a little bit greedy, but actually we aggro swap into this, and in comes Scrafty. Guys, we have a Noctowl, a Medicham with a loaded Psychic. We're going to get off an Earthquake on this thing as well, and we can basically one-shot the Muck. Guys, this is looking super, super good. I don't think there's anything that can go wrong here at this point. The opponent can take me out, I don't have to shield it. They do end up going for a Power Punch. We'll go for the Fire Punch here, which will look to take out Scrafty, or force the final shield. If the opponent shields here, I can sky attack it, and we actually do get a Simul KO, which is about the most perfect thing I could ask for. We go for a sky attack on this. The opponent knows I've got a Psychic. Will the opponent let this go? We do get the lag, and ladies and gents, we go 3-2 in the set. From 29.99 all the way up from 22.50 a week and a half ago. We're up to 29.99, and we actually did it, folks. We hit legend. We're going to see this coming free here in a second. I've slowed it all down to make it dramatic. But man, I just got to say a big thank you to everybody who's helped me get here. Everybody who's been supporting the videos, leaving good comments, and really just showing love on this channel has really just pushed me on to get this. I thought, you know, 2 weeks ago when I was on 22.50, I thought I wasn't even going to get expert, and we somehow managed to get legend in the final week of the season in Catch Cup. I want to say a big shout out to Jamie Finn as well. He coached me earlier in the season, definitely helped me out a ton. And biggest shout out to the all our content creators. I have to give Home/Henry a shout out for this team as well. This was his legend team from 2 seasons ago. Big shout out to Human Catcher Bug for the Element Cup team that got me up to almost expert. And I think this is an amazing way to end the season. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who supported all the videos. The growth on this channel has been incredible, and honestly, it's a little bit emotional for me to hit legend. It's kind of like a weight off my shoulders. As a content creator, I want to be looked at as a good player. Not being able to hit legend or not being able to hit expert, it's kind of like a weight off my shoulders. I know that I'm good enough to do it now. Just because we hit legend does not mean that the road is finished though. I think I've just so much more to improve on. Hopefully I can continue to get better, and no matter what happens, we're going to have a lot more fun videos. The end of the season's coming up here quite soon, so I'll be running some spice and BS here for the last couple of days, and hopefully we get some move updates. And for the first couple of weeks of the Great League, I will be running just random teams, so keep an eye out for that, guys. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, thank you very much everybody, and I'll catch you all in the next one.